February is here. And if you are one of the ones that actually gave up on your fitness transformation journey in January, you're going to be blown away because after watching this, you're going to find that 2024 is going to be the most insane year within your fitness transformation journey if you actually put into practice what I want to show you. Okay, these are the stories that the big fitness industry, so to speak, wants kept in the dark. And frankly, if everyone knew this, if the whole population was aware of these types of stories, I truly believe that it would put a lot of fitness companies and supplement companies completely out of business, because that's how powerful this actually is. So 90% of people that start their fitness transformation journey in January, within 12 days, have actually already given up. And even the ones that actually do go on to, so to speak, accomplish their goal, lose the weight, whatever that is that they want to do, typically it's with weight loss, fairly shortly after that, they actually gain back all of the weight and some that they set out to lose. But you're still here, which is phenomenal, because if you're going to stick with me through this, you're going to learn how simple this actually is, and you're going to be blown away once I show you what's in this article. Okay, so this is a Business Insider article. So I wish I could share it with you on the screen, but I can't at the moment. Someday I will be able to soon. So this is a Business Insider article, which I thought, Business Insider, what? Like, what on earth does Business Insider have anything to do with fitness? But lo and behold, Google knew I would appreciate the article and hence put it in front of me. So the title is More Energy and Defined Abs. Here's how one man finally got the body he wanted by doing less in the gym. Now, this is an article about a man named Bobby. He's a 45-year-old man. He's about to give up on his fitness journey. In a lot of ways, he's probably right where a lot of you are, struggling, not seeing the results, not getting where he wants to be. He's spent money working with personal trainers. He's spent hours and hours and hours working out, spent so much time and mental willpower trying to cut foods out of his diet, and he's getting nowhere. Now, let me read the beginning of this to you, because this is what's so infuriating. Okay, Bobby Lou had been diligently working out for years with little to show for it. So if you can relate to that, I can certainly relate to that. I spent years thinking and hoping that I was making progress, and then just finding out very shortly, within a matter of weeks, I'm getting nowhere. And then I would try again, getting nowhere, give up, have some motivation, and then I'd get on a workout kick. I'd try and eat healthy, and I'd completely fall off the bandwagon. And it wasn't until I learned some very, very small keys that I needed to focus on that everything changed for me. And he was in the same situation. So this 45-year-old was discouraged and skeptical that anything would work, because here's what's ridiculous. This guy's working with trainers, working with personal trainers, which tells you that there's a lot of garbage personal trainers out there, which it's the reality in any kind of industry. There's going to be people who are really good and people who are really bad. But frankly, as the guys over at Mind Pump would say, the fitness industry is failing at being able to help the mass population to actually be able to health. Obesity is rising, diabetes is rising, all these, diseases associated with overeating are rising. There's so many things, and we're not getting to the core of it. And how many giant fitness companies or supplement companies are businesses booming for them? Because it seems so complex, more so than ever. We have access. It's at our fingertips. Basically all of this information. And yet we have almost information paralysis, because it's all there, but who is right? And what do you spend time doing? And then you might try something and it doesn't work. Well, then who do I listen to? And a lot of people just get disheartened and give up. And I don't blame them, because I understand how difficult it is. I've been through it, and I've actually seen the light on the other side. And that's what I want to be able to show you guys. All right. So this 45-year-old's discouraged, skeptical that anything would work. He wasn't achieving his goals. He had a lot of weight that he wanted to lose. He was kind of, in his terms, somewhat like skinny fat. Definitely overweight, but not like, very large. But he had a lot of weight to lose. Then he started working with a different trainer. So right there, you see, he had a mental switch. He really was at his wit's end. He wanted to give up, but there was something in him that just said, one more thing, one more try. Let me do this one more thing. And he had a little bit of hope right there to actually be able to reach out to another personal trainer. Now, they don't go into why he did, but I would imagine that there's something he saw there that might have clued him in. So before I jump to the next part, I just want to share with you. Yes, my Christmas mug is back. Along with, this is just my favorite mug. So you may see my Christmas tree mug a lot. So it's Christmas all year long for me. But this is the best size mug that we have. And there's just something. Do you have a mug like that at your house? It's just satisfying to drink something from. It's probably very odd. But this is what I like about it. It's just awesome. It's like a mix of barley root, dandelion root, which has a ton of benefits, all of which I won't go into right now, partially because I don't actually remember them all at the moment. But I've mixed in, of course, a few servings of. You've got to cut all these things out because life has some incredible food to offer, and I want to be able to enjoy them. I hope you're enjoying what you're drinking, if you're drinking something. All right, so Inaz, who was this personal trainer that he now reached out to, put him on what would be a shocking routine. So let's kind of go through the question here. Do you think most likely you would think a lot of cardio, right? He wants to lose weight, so we should do a lot of cardio. If you watch my channel, hopefully you know the answer to that. Then he probably made him cut out a whole bunch of foods, right? And then probably also made him track 1,000 different metrics. But no, as you probably can sense from my sarcasm, he did none of those things. Because here was the contrast. The trainers that Bobby Lou used to work with, they had him tracking. This is insanity to me. They had him tracking 20 different metrics in an Excel spreadsheet. Now, first off, we're in the 21st century. As much as I love Excel, I have a financial background. I used to use Excel all the time. As much as I love Excel, there's so many more options nowadays. That's what's great. But also 20 different metrics. It makes it so impossible and so bewildering to try to measure all these things. Because if you go in seeing a trainer measuring all those metrics, it's just like, how on earth could I do this on my own? I feel like I either need to spend the money to have a coach or I can't actually get there. And that's what I want to reveal to you, that if you have a little bit of diligence and a little bit of focus, I can make this super simple for you. So let's see, I lost my place here. Within 2 months, so all he did, so obviously he did not do that. He did not put him on a bunch of cardio. He did not make him cut a bunch of foods. He did not make him track a whole bunch of spreadsheets. All they did was a very simple program, lifting weights and simplifying the diet. So let's not make it complex. Let's make this simple. Let's make this as easy as possible to sustain. Sustainability, data is clear. It's in the research over and over again. The diet, and I shouldn't even call it diet, the nutrition plan, or the nutrition, because I don't even like hearing plan. Plan to me indicates that there's some complex, set of formulas, of eat this, don't eat that you're following. So your nutrition, what you eat, as long as whatever you pick, you can stick to, you will get the results that you want. Okay, so he saw within 2 months a noticeable drop in his body fat, along with a massive increase in strength. So in total, he lost 9 pounds of muscle. Now listen, 9 pounds, right, doesn't sound like a whole lot. I mean, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, anywhere around there. If you go to lose that and you've struggled to lose weight, like, phenomenal. I just want to high five you because that is a huge goal to have achieved. But it's not like someone went out and lost 20, 30, 40 pounds. Like, obviously that, if we saw that scrolling through social media, we'd be shocked at that amount, a little bit more. But here's the key. That 9 pounds accounts for all of the increases in strength that he gained. Because, here's a little caveat, he lost 7 inches off his waist. Down only 9 pounds, and he lost, that's 6, that's about 7. I'm in remodeling, I should be able to figure this out. 7 inches total off his waist. I mean, that's insanity. So I want you to just realize the scale does not tell you everything. The scale is not what you always want to focus on. So in the process, he added more than 50 pounds onto his lifts. Now, what I don't want you to get stuck on here is that number of 50 pounds. That could be any number. The bottom line is that he progressively increased the weight that he was lifting. He got stronger, therefore he added muscle, he adapted his CNS, his central nervous system, to be able to handle more load. And as a result, what happens? Muscle fibers grow thicker, they grow more dense. You can lift more, which then leads to all the more hypertrophy. Hypertrophy being just muscle growth. Now, there's different types of hypertrophy, but for our sakes, all we want to know is it's muscle growth. And it comes through challenging your body a little bit more. Okay, people think, this is him talking, people think it's like starvation or that everyone must be on a low-carb diet or doing tons of cardio, but it's actually quite the opposite. He was eating high carb, little to no cardio, and weight training. That was basically all that he did. So Lou, who lives in London, says the most striking part of his fitness journey was that his best fitness progress came from actually doing, can we all say it together? Came from doing less, not from doing more. This is what is, to me, like so amazing and so cool. There's so much research and data out there. And believe me, I nerd out on a lot of this stuff. I enjoy seeing the science behind it, seeing the studies, what's the best ways to optimize. And I want to condense that for you so that you don't need to spend time spinning your wheels and listening to all that. Because here's what can happen as I adjust my glasses that have my gorgeous duct tape on them. I know it's laziness. I just have not made the time to go get my eyes checked. Also, have you tried to get an eye appointment lately? It's like 2 months out for me just to be able to get into place. So I'm dealing with the duct tape. So bear with me. All right. What was I saying? Doing less, not more. Okay, so here's the crux of it. So many people think there's so many things that you need to be doing. You need to be working out 5 days a week. You really got to hone in your nutrition. You got to cut out a whole bunch of foods. But that's not the case. That's what's incredible. You can actually do less, and you're going to get far, far further for multiple different reasons. And the research, as awesome as the research all is, it can cloud things. And I've been through this where I've gone through points in my fitness journey where I was working out a lot more, really focused on trying to increase volume, increase, the repetitions, adding more sets, adding more weight, more. Don't miss a workout. And that can cause you to burn out, cause you to crash and stall. That's what's crazy. Okay. So by focusing on basics, here are the basics. Are you ready? Get your notepad. Eating protein and consistent full body training. He said his routine was easier, it was less stressful, and it paid off by revealing all of the muscle definition and ab visibility that he was told he would never get because trainers told him it was his genetics. It was his genetics and his age, it's just ridiculous. Even if you're in your 40s, if you're in your 50s, if you're in your 60s and 70s, you still have the potential to build muscle. Obviously, the circumstances are going to vary, but your body can still adapt based on the stimulus that you're sending it. Okay, so he'd never been so big, so broad in his life. This was the first time that he could actually see his abs. But here's the cool thing. He had more energy and a better mood too. So he says it's more about feeling better and more confident than just looking good. So when we start on one of these journeys, obviously motivation is huge. That's what motivation to actually look better, to have abs, to look bigger, to feel more confident. Those things drive you to it. But what's cool is that's only the tip of the iceberg. There's so much below the surface of what weightlifting and exercising actually does to improve your mood, improve your energy, improve your sleep. There's tons and tons of studies about the massive impact of weight training on depression. Some people, and I can't quote specifics, but that it's been basically used as an antidepressant, which is incredible. So I want you to remember that. You're going to go into it thinking you want to look aesthetically better. Don't chase the aesthetics. As my friends over at Mind Pump would say, don't chase the aesthetics, chase health, and you're going to get the aesthetics along with it. Because if you chase the aesthetics, you're going to lose it, and you're going to lose your health. You're not going to get there. So chase the health, chase feeling more confident, be able to walk taller, and be able to feel more confident when you enter into a room. So he wanted to gain muscle. He obviously did that. And he really wanted to put on muscle mass, trim body fat, and he was able to get to that point, having that more athletic look. So here's what's crazy. Previously, Lou had bad experiences with personal trainers who bombarded him with information on what he needed to do or to avoid, things to cut out. And sometimes the workouts he would just feel absolutely exhausted, absolutely wasted coming out of. Some of them he just felt like it wasn't enough. And he says in this article that he felt like this training regimen felt like just the right amount of volume. So what is that amount of volume? You'd probably want to know. So what's crazy is it's full body training, tracking his protein. Those are the main things that he focused on. He did give him certain macros to be able to hit. And I'll tell you from my own experience, the most important one that you're going to think about, because you don't have to be tracking calories or macros to be able to do this, but ensuring that you're actually getting enough protein is going to make a world of difference, because that's what actually will help fuel any kind of muscle breakdown that you've done in the gym, so that you've got protein synthesis happening. That's what's going to help fuel the body that's building back the muscle. So he was shocked, of course, at first. He was like, after all these metrics that these other trainers were having me doing, and now you want me to do this little, what does this actually look like? So within weeks, he had already begun burning belly fat and seeing more muscle definition. So that's what's cool, that when you're talking about fat loss and even adding muscle in the beginning stages of training, if you're consistent for just a few weeks, you're already going to start to see some of the changes. Now, to see drastic transformation, big changes, that I want you to look years out. You completely underestimate how far you're going to get. See, I'm going to butcher this quote again, but you're going to underestimate how far I can never get it right. You're going to get far further than you actually think when you start putting in the small steps over time, over the course of years. Because in 10 years, you're going to get insanely far with transforming your body, but you've got to be okay and accept the fact that this takes time. Now, does it take 10 years? Obviously not, to even just make a massive shift and then start building from there. You can do this in several months, up to a year. You can make a massive transformation. Okay. So in turn, those results that he was seeing was giving him motivation to keep on going. So you want to know probably how often was he going to gym? What was he actually doing? So he was doing full body. What is it that I recommend? I recommend full body. I'm telling you this, it gives you the frequency. It feels good. And if it doesn't feel good to you now, or maybe I used to be a body part split guy. I used to be a push-pull legs, which is also a great routine. But with the amount of flexibility that you and I need in our life, doing full body is going to allow you to hit all of the targeted muscle groups as frequently as possible and not worry if you miss a day here and there, because life happens. Sometimes kids get sick. Sometimes things come up. Sometimes you have something with work that can't be, dealt with, or sometimes sleep is just awful one night. And doing full body is going to give you that flexibility to be able to hit all the muscle groups as frequently as possible, but still tailor it to your schedule. So Bobby was going 4 times a week to hit these, what am I trying to say? Going 4 times a week to the gym. Now, he says he was in the gym for about an hour, but here's the key. That hour included getting there, prepping, waiting around, waiting for his turn to be able to use equipment, because he was going to a public gym, which brings up another point here. So realistically, his training was probably actually somewhere around, 30 to 45 minutes. Super manageable. Just think about that. And here's what I would say is, that's not even necessarily where you want to start. You don't even necessarily want to start with 4 times a week. What's the most sustainable thing that you can do? Cut that in half, and I want you to start there. Start with something like 20 to 30 minutes, 2 days a week. So each session he did train full body. He felt like it was just the right. Again, another key that I've also talked about constantly is he built his movements around compound, or his trainer did, built it around compound movements. Made sure this was the most effective that it could be. Biggest bang for your buck: deadlifts, presses, overhead presses, rows, pull-ups, things like that. And then he did have some isolated targeted movements, things for like biceps and triceps and things like that. So he would perform, this breaks it all down. 3 sets, 12 reps per set. And now his trainer would have him try to hit 12 reps. And if he could do more, he'd have him up the weight and possibly do less reps. I'll make it even simpler for you. hit a range. Just always try to add maybe at least 1 rep. If you can do more, phenomenal. You're like shooting way above and beyond. But if you can add 1 rep to 1 set of your training routine, then you're in a phenomenal place. You're slowly progressing. And all of those results are going to start to compound. So he would then just increase the weight and do a fewer reps. I mean, he massively increased his ability to lift more weight. I mean, just for instance, he was doing 12 reps with 30 pounds for a shoulder press. But now he does 10 reps with 66 pounds. So that's an insane amount of growth. So I want you to realize how fast that can compound, which is what amazing. I mean, here it says he also added almost 70 pounds to his bench press using the same method. Progressive overload, doing a little bit more with better form every time you go into the gym or every time you work out, which reminds me, I never said my other point. So here's my other point. So he was going to a gym, spending an hour at a gym. I would advocate, I want to be around my family. I want to be able to do this in as little as time as possible. I want to do the least I can to elicit the most response. And for me, that's doing it at home. It's doing it at my tiny little office home gym. I don't even have a barbell, guys. I've been making immense progress, gains, putting on muscle over the course of, what am I up to now? I don't even know, 6, 7, 8 years, somewhere around there. Just using dumbbells and resistance bands. Now, I know it seems expensive. I've got a link. At the end of this video, I'll make sure it's included in there, but there's a link to resistance band kit that you can literally use for 6 months to a year and make phenomenal progress with, because it actually requires almost basically zero space. You can use it anywhere. You can take it on the go, and you've got a ton of resistance to be able to work with. So that's why I would recommend, because I could literally do his routine and probably half the time, because I'm not going, and that doesn't include, he didn't even include driving time. So that's what I highly recommend doing it. Show your kids. My kids, they enjoy just coming. It's just normal that this is what we do. This is what my wife and I do. And they have joined in with us. And my son has wanted to lead me through workouts. And I'm not going to push it on them, but as soon as they're interested if they get interested in it, I'm more than happy to show them how you can do this. And that's what's cool. So the cool thing is, this guy who is about to give up says it's really achievable. It really is. It's not as hard as people make it out to be. And I know the feeling. It can feel hard because of all the information that's out there. So he didn't cut macros, or he didn't cut a bunch of calories. Now, there's some other things. The article goes on and says that he would just basically focus on hitting his macros, but the protein is the biggest one. You've got to make sure that you're hitting that protein goal, and then let the other macros fall where they may. If you eat to satiety, make sure you're getting those, like I typically say, 3 to probably 5 fist-size servings of good, solid sources of protein. Then you're going to be really darn close to hitting probably the protein needs that you need. That's going to make it insanely easy. And then just eat as many whole foods as you can. Just include extra whole foods and let the rest fall where they may. Focus on getting stronger, and you're going to make this insanely easy on yourself. Now, it takes time, so just be consistent, which is why you're going to need this video up over here so that you can escape the fat loss trap that a lot of people fall into. And as always, be intentional, bring the intensity, and I cannot wait to see you over there on the next video.